Anthony Scully for Conor McGrandles and Alex Palmer. That was since their last game draw against Wimbledon. As for the Black Cats, Lee Johnson makes 2 changes as well, with and Tom Flanagan coming in for Conor McLaughlin and Jack Diamond. They drew on the last day of the season as well. That was 1-1 at home against Northampton. It's the first leg of the League One semi-final playoff between Lincoln City and Sunderland, where we're all set and ready for the first leg of the playoff semi-final in League One between Lincoln City as they host Sunderland, the Travellers, the Black Cats, and the Imps, looking to get themselves on a good footing for their second leg this weekend in 3 days' time on Saturday. Of course, the fight that would take them to Wembley against Oxford or Blackpool in the other leg. The team news is out for the two sides, and it's 2 changes for both, as Lincoln bring in Joe Bursick for a debut and Anthony Scully for Conor McGrandles and Alex Palmer. That was since their last game draw against Wimbledon. As for the Black Cats, Lee Johnson makes 2 changes as well, with Aidan McGeady and Tom Flanagan coming in for Conor McLaughlin and Jack Diamond. They drew on the last day of the season as well. That was 1-1 at home against Northampton. It's the first leg of the League One semi-final playoff between Lincoln City and Sunderland, where we're all set and ready for the first leg of the playoff semi-final in League One between Lincoln City as they host Sunderland, the Travellers, the Black Cats, and the Imps, looking to get themselves on a good footing for their second leg this weekend in 3 days' time on Saturday. Of course, the fight that would take them to Wembley against Oxford or Blackpool in the other leg. The team news is out for the two sides, and it's 2 changes for both, as Lincoln bring in Joe Bursick for a debut and Anthony Scully for Conor McGrandles and Alex Palmer. That was since their last game draw against Wimbledon. As for the Black Cats, Lee Johnson makes 2 changes as well, with Aidan McGeady and Tom Flanagan coming in for Conor McLaughlin and Jack Diamond. They drew on the last day of the season as well. That was 1-1 at home against Northampton. It's the first leg of the League One semi-final playoff between Lincoln City and Sunderland, where we're all set and ready for the first leg of the playoff semi-final in League One between Lincoln City as they host Sunderland, the Travellers, the Black Cats, and the Imps, looking to get themselves on a good footing for their second leg this weekend in 3 days' time on Saturday. Of course, the fight that would take them to Wembley against Oxford or Blackpool in the other leg. The team news is out for the two sides, and it's 2 changes for both, as Lincoln bring in Joe Bursick for a debut and Anthony Scully for Conor McGrandles and Alex Palmer. That was since their last game draw against Wimbledon. As for the Black Cats, Lee Johnson makes 2 changes as well, with Aidan McGeady and Tom Flanagan coming in for Conor McLaughlin and Jack Diamond. They drew on the last day of the season as well. That was 1-1 at home against Northampton. It's the first leg of the League One semi-final playoff between Lincoln City and Sunderland, where we're all set and ready for the first leg of the playoff semi-final in League One between Lincoln City as they host Sunderland, the Travellers, the Black Cats, and the Imps, looking to get themselves on a good footing for their second leg this weekend in 3 days' time on Saturday. Of course, the fight that would take them to Wembley against Oxford or Blackpool in the other leg. The team news is out for the two sides, and it's 2 changes for both, as Lincoln bring in Joe Bursick for a debut and Anthony Scully for Conor McGrandles and Alex Palmer. That was since their last game draw against Wimbledon. As for the Black Cats, Lee Johnson makes 2 changes as well, with Aidan McGeady and Tom Flanagan coming in for Conor McLaughlin and Jack Diamond. They drew on the last day of the season as well. That was 1-1 at home against Northampton. It's the first leg of the League One semi-final playoff between Lincoln City and Sunderland, where we're all set and ready for the first leg of the playoff semi-final in League One between Lincoln City as they host Sunderland, the Travellers, the Black Cats, and the Imps, looking to get themselves on a good footing for their second leg this weekend in 3 days' time on Saturday. Of course, the fight that would take them to Wembley against Oxford or Blackpool in the other leg. The team news is out for the two sides, and it's 2 changes for both, as Lincoln bring in Joe Bursick for a debut and Anthony Scully for Conor McGrandles and Alex Palmer. That was since their last game draw against Wimbledon. As for the Black Cats, Lee Johnson makes 2 changes as well, with Aidan McGeady and Tom Flanagan coming in for Conor McLaughlin and Jack Diamond. They drew on the last day of the season as well. That was 1-1 at home against Northampton. It's the first leg of the League One semi-final playoff between Lincoln City and Sunderland, where we're all set and ready for the first leg of the playoff semi-final in League One between Lincoln City as they host Sunderland, the Travellers, the Black Cats, and the Imps looking to get themselves on a good footing for their second leg this weekend in 3 days' time on Saturday. Of course, the fight that would take them to Wembley against Oxford or Blackpool in the other leg. The team news is out for the two sides, and it's two changes for both, as Lincoln bring in Joe Bursick for a debut and Anthony Scully for Conor McGrandles and Alex Palmer. That was since their last game draw against Wimbledon. As for the Black Cats, Lee Johnson makes two changes as well, with Aidan McGeady and Tom Flanagan coming in for Conor McLaughlin and Jack Diamond. They drew on the last day of the season as well. That was 1-1 at home against Northampton. It's the first leg of the League One semi-final playoff between Lincoln City and Sunderland. We'll leave that one there, and it's a warm welcome along to this independent off-tube studio commentary of that game just mentioned. Lincoln City against Sunderland, it's a big one. It's the first leg of the semi-final playoff in League One. It's certainly going to be an enthralling affair as the fans packed in to the LNER Stadium. At Sincil back, 3,000 of them have been allowed to enter the stadium and support their team as they just come forward down the right hand side. Now it's an early ball that comes forward into the midfield, then almost falls the right way there for Brennan, who maybe could have had a shot at goal there for a moment, as looked as though Lee Burge was out of his net. Eventually the ball comes to the right hand side and it is whipped in by Regan Poole on the right hand side for Lincoln, who have started brightly with the confidence behind them as their fans cheer them on. But the ball has just gone out on the left hand side, and Sunderland will regather the ball. When we get a moment, I will run through the two team lineups for you, but as you will have heard, two changes for both from their last 8 games in the regular, of course, 46 game season in the Championship. And those two of the 4 teams have got the privilege of playing even more football in front of us as we watch the ever entertaining playoffs take their place at the end of the season, as it's won on the right hand side quickly now by Sunderland, and scampering forward for a moment. Over on that far side was Jordan Jones, but he did have the ball nicked off him by Timothy Nyema. Sunderland have won it back once again. Now in the midfield it's Aidan McGeady looking forward for Charlie White, just puts the ball on his left foot, has a strike. It's deflected away and it comes out once again to Brennan Johnson. Plays a ball in behind on the right hand side. Scowen's racing for this one. It's a sliding challenge, comes in. Did it come off the Lincoln player last? It did, says the man at the back there who made the tackle. Tom Flanagan, of course, coming in today for the first time since he played in the Papa John's Trophy on March the 14th. He thought the ball came off the Lincoln man last, but not off Anthony Scully there. And Poole will take the throw in now for Lincoln, just into the feet now on that right hand side of Brennan Johnson. Back to Poole once again, skips past his first marker in Denver Hume. The good tackle comes across though by Aidan McGeady, but as he clears he slips, and White battling with Tom Hopper. Hopper wins out in the end with the battle, but it comes to the left hand side once again for Sunderland. Scowen on the left hand side just decides to come backwards in the end, as McGeady in a left back position at the moment, as Flanagan just goes square across the back to his centre half partner in Bailey Wright. Mean out on the right back position into Max Power, fed into the feet of Wyke. It's held up, laid off now for Scowen, driving forward with the ball in a central area, goes out to the right hand side. O'Neill with an early cross into the box. It's Wyke with the header. The ball just comes off the back there of the former Sunderland man Liam Bridcut. Never experienced player in there for Lincoln City, the skipper of the Imps, but as the ball is rolled out to the left hand side to Timothy Nyema, we have to notice who's in goal for Lincoln City tonight, and it's the debutant Joe Bursick between the sticks. He's of course a Stoke man. He's played against Lincoln this season for both Doncaster and Peterborough in the game that sent Peterborough up into the Championship automatically, incidentally. But tonight he's in Lincoln colours as they come forward quickly now. It's a switch of play out to the right hand side. A good take by Scully, shifts it onto his right foot, has a strike, and goal, and it just goes over the top of the goal. He says that the goalkeeper got a touch. The referee, I think, may have given a goal kick there for Lee Burge, but it's the first early strike at goal, and it's come the way of Lincoln. And Scully, it certainly was a save there, it looked like, from Lee Burge on the replay. Just gets a fingertip on that one and just sends it over the bar, but the effect of the fans is certainly working to a positive effect for the Imps tonight. But yes, just to reflect, it's Joe Bursick coming in tonight. It's an emergency loan, as usual keeper Palmer has received or picked up a head injury in training, should I say. Palmer had 19 clean sheets in his 46 league appearances this season. Bursick on his loan appearances and at Stoke has picked up 11 in 33, so he's a fine goalkeeper to bring in, but of course when you're used to a certain voice behind you like this Lincoln City defence are, it's a big change for a big game in this one. But now's a good moment to run through the two lineups for you. Lincoln, of course, with Bursick between the sticks. It looks as though it's a back four of Poole, Jackson, Iyema and Ejura. The midfield three of Bridcut, Grant and Brennan Johnson, and then Scully one side, Morgan Rogers the other, of Tom Hopper up front. As for the Black Cats and Lee Johnson, it's a back four in front of Lee Burge, of Luke O'Neill, Bailey Wright, Tom Flanagan and Denver Hume. And then we'll see how their forward players line up. It could be a pretty fluid one, but it is a lineup that is filled with certain skill and experience. They will hope they'll take them through the playoffs. It's Max Power, Josh Scowen, Jordan Jones, Aidan McGeady, Lyndon Gooch and Charlie Wyke. 30 goal man this season, Charlie Wyke up front. And a throw in here on the left hand side for Sunderland. A succession of throw-ins with Denver Hume, the man with the ball in his hands, throws it in towards Scowen. It's a good touch there as Bridcut just takes a slip for a moment. There have been a few slips early in this game. Wide on the right hand side, back to Bailey Wright, square into Flanagan, fires it down the left hand side into Hume, looking down the line, skips inside though himself against Brennan Johnson, into the middle of the park to find Power. Hume on once again, there's a touch from a Lincoln man, but it finds the feet of Charlie Wyke in the end. Scowen on the left hand side, now with Power, into Aidan McGeady in a central position. He started very central so far in this game, clips the ball forward, and Jones coming in off the right hand side there isn't quite able to get on the end of it. And good goalkeeping work there from Joe Bursick. Just rolls the ball out initially to Timothy Iyema. And Iyema certainly hope that his team can defend better in this game than they did in the fixture during the regular league season at this ground. It was a 4-0 away victory for Sunderland that day. Charlie Wyke picking up 2. Leadbitter also scored a penalty. The other game was a 1-1 draw at the Stadium of Light. But, Sunderland winning on aggregate then 5-1. They could only be separated by goal difference at the end of the season. The 4-goal swing, was certainly part of that, as Jones running down the right hand side. Flints a free kick now, nothing given. It was Teo Ejura racing against him. Looks as though he put a shoulder in the back of Jordan Jones there, but nothing given from the referee. Ball fired into the feet now of Scully for Lincoln. Turned around the corner. Nice work from George Grant in the middle of the park. Ejura going down the left hand side up towards the feet of Tom Hopper, takes it down, touches it on his left hand foot, and he looks to take a strike. It's deflected away off Tom Flanagan, and the fans raise to their feet. It's good to see the fans inside the ground raise to their feet, cheering their team on as Tom Hopper down that far side of the field on his left boot wins a corner kick. They've had a better away record than home record this season so far, Lincoln, but they'll hope that the introduction of fans today will try and swing that their way, although there's an early injury concern here, and it looks as though it's Denver Hume who's receiving some treatment. There's a member of the medical staff just providing that treatment. There's a couple of players on the sidelines get ready to come on. It looks as though it's going to be an early forced change for Sunderland. So it could be left-footed Scot Callum McFadzean who's going to come on. It's like for replacement at the left-hand side of defence, but it's certainly here looks as though Denver Hume is not going to be okay to come on, to continue. And Callum McFadzean will make his way onto the field. First change of the game then, and a lot earlier than Lee Johnson would have been wanting to make that first change. Just on the 10th minute or 11th minute. And not what Denver Hume would have wanted, given that this is a big game. All the best players want to play in the big games, even if you're a lower down player. In a non-professional game, you want to play in the biggest games and get as far as you can. And Denver Hume in a big game today has had to go off early as the corner is whipped in from the far side by Brennan Johnson. It's headed out at the front post by Sunderland, and they do well to clear their lines there as it goes out for a throw-in over on the far side of the field. The claps and the chants roll on from the Imps fans. Throw-in taken eventually comes back to Ioma. Across the back into Adam Jackson. Jackson looking forward, looking for options, slips as he plays a long ball forward down the left-hand side. It's missed by everyone. It comes through on the left-hand side to Ejura. Run down the left-hand side, then comes from Morgan Rogers, but he has to come back into the feet of George Grant. Back to Ejura on the left-hand side. Rogers, once again, flicks it into midfield to Breakup this time. Just takes the ball on his right foot, feeds it into the feet of Scully, flicks it around the corner. Tackle comes in from Hopper and Flanagan at the back there, but Sunderland win the ball. Coming on the counter-attack now down the left-hand side is Josh Scowen. Back into Aidan McGeady. And his footwork and skills are able to keep the ball off Anthony Scully for the moment. It's been a quick and feisty start to the game in the League One playoff between Lincoln and Sunderland, but it's certain that the fans are playing an effect today so far. Lincoln have been on the front foot, and they've certainly been buoyed by the chants and the support from their fans in the ground. Around about 3,000 of them in the stadium today. And Sunderland had to make an early change as well, as Callum McFadzean who's had to come on for Denver Hume at left back. But it's still goalless between the two sides. It's Lincoln 0, Sunderland 0. Sunderland just holding the ball for the moment. It's a long one up towards Charlie White, just held off by Jackson there. And Jackson's done well to just see that one go out of play for a goal kick in the end. But it's not the start really that Lee Johnson's side would have wanted, but it's probably one that he may have expected, given the fact that it was coming into this one in different form. Both sides not really in fantastic form coming into this one, although Sunderland have only lost one in their last 5, but they have drawn 3 of them. Whereas Lincoln have drawn 2 and lost 2. He's now through the midfield. Driving forward is the right foot of Morgan Rogers. Has a strike from a way out, but that one is sliced in the end. But going back to what I was saying, Lee Johnson probably expected it with the fans, and being at home for Lincoln, it's one of those that maybe they thought a quick start may come from this Lincoln side. Although they've had a poor record at home, they may be thinking that a quick start to the game is the best way for them to get something out of it. And now I see on my screen that there's an injury concern for Lincoln as well, as it looks as though the aforementioned Adam Jackson, who just did well to hold off Charlie Wyke, is looking like he's going to have to come off now. He's in a heap on the ground, and an early change for both sides already, both in defensive positions as well. Just wait for confirmation as to exactly who's going to be the man that's going to come on, but certainly going to be an early bath for Adam Jackson, and he does come off the field, and it's going to be Lewis Montsma who's going to come on, just a like-for-like replacement at centre-half. These two teams just wanting to keep me on their toes with these early changes. But the game's even Steven in terms of scoreline. It's even Steven in shots on target, both being 0, and it's even Steven in both having to make an early substitution as Sunderland get the game going once again. McFadzean goes down the left-hand side in towards Wyke. He tries to turn it back to McFadzean, but it's run in there by Scully. Plays it long down the line towards Brennan Johnson, and then eventually coming across there was good pace of Tom Flanagan. Just hits that one straight into the stands. Brennan Johnson, one of those who's been a fantastic pickup this season, on loan from Nottingham Forest from Michael Appleton. 12 goals in 46 for Lincoln. It's been a fine find, and it has become such an important key player in this Imps side, as it's a long ball forward by them, but the flick on comes from Tom Hopper upfield as Bursick cleared it from the back. Bursick, who, as previously mentioned, was signed on an emergency loan deal just yesterday. It's right, their usual goalkeeper picked up a head injury in training, but on that occasion Tom Hopper was offside from his long ball forward, but it's won in the middle of the park, by George Grant for Lincoln, looking to try and create something now as he whips it down the right hand side in towards the feet of Regan Poole. Now with Bridcup, back to Poole again. Possession play for Lincoln as Lewis Muntsma just gets into the game now with the ball at his feet. He looks to introduce himself with a long sweeping ball down the left hand side, but it's intercepted well on that right hand side there by Luke O'Neill. Heads it down the line into Jones. Jones racing back in front of his man who's covering over on that side, which is Morgan Rogers. Power in midfield, continues his run as he lays it off to Jones. Jones with an early cross. That one is always going into the hands of Joe Bursick there. Just overhit the cross and floated to the wrong side of the box as Jones was concerned. But Tom Hopper getting himself about as he gets into a tackle there with Bailey Wright. Wright wins out and has the ball at his feet as he goes into O'Neill and with power. Back once again to Wright, square across. Back into Flanagan. And Wright once again running out with the ball from the back. Just clips it up into the chest now of Charlie Wyke. Lays that one off down the left hand side in towards McFadzean. Just keeps that one in play for a moment. Looking for options though. Nothing too much. John just decides to go back into Flanagan. Flanagan and Wright have probably had more of the ball than anyone so far in a Sunderland shirt. Sunderland in their navy blue tops and socks with red shorts as Jordan Jones just isn't able to keep the ball in on the far side of the field. Almost takes out the linesman over on the far side as well. But good hurdle from the official. 3 goals and 4 assists this season for Jordan Jones. Not the most prolific, but you've got the likes of Aidan McGeady and Charlie Wyke in your side. There's not a lot you can often do that will take the stats away from them two. They almost sweep them all up for this Sunderland team, and there's only so many goals every team can score on average in a game. If you're going to score 4 goals in a game, then you're going to get 4 assists and 4 goals across the team. But that doesn't always happen, of course, as Tom Flanagan does well to just cut out a ball from the left hand side by Rogers as he was looking to chip it in behind it towards Tom Hopper. Sorry, it was Brendan Johnson actually getting forward there. I just assumed it was Hopper, but a little bit more quality required there from Morgan Rogers. But Flanagan doing exactly what he needed, just puts the ball out for a corner kick. Sunderland can reset now from this corner, but an attacking opportunity for Lincoln. Whipped towards the front post, flicked on by Sunderland. Head comes to the far post. It's headed on by Muntsma. Then Aidan McGeady takes a swipe, but that one misses it. Won by Poole for Lincoln, looking down the left-hand side for an option, maybe no. Clips the ball back into the box, headed out initially. Edge of the box, it's Monsma, has a strike at goal! What a good opportunity that was. It's a good save, though, in the end by Lee Burge. But the substitute for Sunderland, for Lincoln, the centre-half, Lewis Monsma, with a fantastic strike there on the volley, fires it low towards the bottom left-hand corner. It may have got a slight deflection, I think it did, off the covering defender Max Power. But Monsma with a good strike there. In the 20th minute, it looked as though he may have found the back of the net for a moment. It's a good save from Lee Burge, but that's the closest we've come to seeing a goal so far. 2 chances so far, one from Scully, one from Monsma. It's the home side who are the ones creating it. And fans right behind them, providing that support that they need as Bridcut just takes a knock now in midfield as a little Marseille turn from him ends up with him being clattered slightly from behind by Max Power to nick in quickly and win the ball back, but couldn't do so. 2 skippers going at it there. On the right hand side, Poole loses out initially. It's a good flick on them by Scowen, and the tackle comes in from Bridcut this time. It wasn't too dissimilar from the Power tackle. Power escaped without a yellow. Therefore, he couldn't complain that now Liam Bridcut has escaped without a yellow. The referee today, Craig Hicks, just allowing things to go on for the moment, not looking to put anyone in the book too early in the game and potentially pick up a red card. They do say that the referees want to keep things going in these sorts of knockout, late stage games, playoff games, those sorts of affairs. They don't want to pick up the red card if they can avoid it. Sometimes you can't, of course, but to see 2 teams going at it 11 v 11 as it swept forward from Sunderland. It's a poor touch in the end. It was a poor ball, actually. It was easily won by Endura, but his touch was poor, and now Sunderland have it once again on the right hand side. Jones, just a poor touch for a moment, but lays it back towards Luke O'Neill, crosses the ball towards the far post, goes over everybody apart from Scully. He wants to fire it down the right hand side, does just that, but Max Power is there covering across on the halfway line. And first time sweeps that one back to Lee Burge. Power picks it up once again in midfield from Bailey Wright this time. It's pressure provided by Brennan Johnson, puts a tackle in, but Max Power just about getting that ball away there. Maybe asking for a foul from the referee. He's not happy with something that happened there, but it looked fair to me from Brennan Johnson. It's Flanagan driving with the ball at his feet now to the halfway line. McGeady coming very, very deep. We've seen that so often so far in this game. 1-2 with Scowen. A poor ball from Scowen, though. McGeady somehow comes away with it, but it should have been won by George Grant there. Fed into the midfield now once again for Sunderland, but it's lost again. And now Bridcut releases Johnson on the counter-attack. A run provided in the middle by Hopper. He's taken out off the ball now, but play goes on as Scully whips it towards the far post. That one goes past Endura. On that right hand side is O'Neill to just watch that one go out of play, but I'm sure that Tom Hopper will come forward and have a word with the referee now. Throw-in's given over on the far side as the Scully cross went all the way out of play. He was certainly took out off the ball there, Tom Hopper, who was running forward. It was one of those Bailey Wright's just holding his position. Hopper could have avoided him if he had looked where he was going. Nothing was ever going to be given for a foul there, but it's still level between the two sides. Game continued in a similar manner. It's even between the two. Lincoln creating the better of the opportunities. Just had a shot from the edge of the box. The substitute, it's Lewis Monsma, who's come on for Adam Jackson for Lincoln. So an early change for both sides. But Monsma, a centre-half, find himself on the edge of the box from a corner. The first time on the volley, low down to the bottom left-hand corner. But a solid save from Lee Burge stopped it from hitting the back of the net. It's still level between Lincoln and Sunderland, 0-0. This time a long ball forward down the left-hand side for Sunderland. Just goes dribbling out of play for a throw-in. Simple one for Lincoln to pick up. They launch it down the right-hand side through Regan Poole. Fired forward by Flanagan as it went back to him. White's battling for that one. Poole looks to wait for this one to go out for a goal kick, and just about does that as White comes across to challenge. So an even game, both teams cancelling each other out. Neither side really created a glaring goal-scoring opportunity so far. Maybe the nerves and the tension felt by both sides as now Lincoln come down the right-hand side. It's whipped in by Poole towards the near post. Flanagan wins the ball as Scully looked to whip the ball in towards the back of the net. It was a foul against Tom Hopper on Tom Flanagan. Hopper protests. Flanagan got there first. He said he was pushed. There's nothing too much in that. I have to say he's maybe fortunate there, Tom Flanagan. He did get a slight arm from Hopper as he got past him. Slight fend off, but nothing too much in it. Tom Hopper is a man that is out of goals at the moment, so will be becoming a frustrated striker up there for Lincoln. No goals in his last 12 for the home side today. It's down the left hand side now. Come Lincoln and Ejura. Just plays that one off the ankle of Luke O'Neill. Picks up his side. A throw in on the far side. Ejura just going short, eventually gets the ball back, whips it towards the front post. Tom Flanagan under that one. Maybe the sun caught his eyes there as he headed it back into his own box. Bailey Wright with the second header, won by Lincoln though, edge of the box. It's once again at the feet of Hopper, just trying to scramble around and find somebody in a red shirt. Finds Bridcut eventually, plays it down the left hand side. That miscommunication between him and Ejura, and now Sunderland come forward on the counter attack. It is well won by O'Neill on the right hand side as it's dribbling through the midfield now at the feet of Josh Scowen. A 1-2 on the left hand side, drives forward once again. This time it's Lyndon Gooch, whips it in towards the box. Charlie Wright trying to get there, but it's good covering in there by Lewis Montsma. But a good counter attack initially from Sunderland was slowed down, but good work from Lyndon Gooch in the end to try and whip it into the box, and Montsma had to just put that one straight out to play for safety. And a corner and a chance for Sunderland. A number of tall men, of course. Flanagan, Wright, Charlie Wyke, and of course Luke O'Neill playing at right back is not a small man himself as they whip this one. It looks loopy towards the far post. Flanagan hits it forward. It's a good save though by Joe Bursick. Catches that one safely with two hands and looks as calm as ever walking out from the back there. Looks so confident, as if he's got no nerves running through his veins whatsoever. Joe Bursick, the debutant for Lincoln. He was in the middle of the box, found himself at the correct post. The ball came straight to him, looking for a counter-attack opportunity himself, but just held on to it unfazed. The emergency lone E goalkeeper. Lincoln gave up the ball incidentally. A long ball is played forward, but Sunderland will now just play out from the back. Bailey Wright on the right-hand side as the sun scrapes across half of the field. It's a shadow half and a sunny half split between the two goals. You never know, it could become an issue for goalkeepers. May even at some point have to get a cap to put on if the sun does bother them. It's not bothering Timothy Ioma there as he fends off Charlie White to head the ball out to play for a throw-in on the far side of the field. Of the two at the back there as Montsma takes up the position of Jackson on the right hand side as Power receives the throw in. Now with Jones, whips it in, beats Ejura, doesn't beat Ioma though, just fires that one once again out for a Sunderland throw. But this game has just swallowed itself into a comfortable tempo, but nothing of any urgency from either side so far. And I mentioned that sun, it's certainly affecting the linesman on the near side of the field as the cross comes in from Sunderland. It's easily dealt with by Ioma. Still has the ball at his feet, eventually fires it long down the left hand side, but there's not too much in terms of options to play it to, and it just bounces straight to Tom Flanagan, who heads it back to Lee Burge. It was pretty aimless there and poor from Lincoln getting out from the back as the ball comes into McFadzean. Now with Gooch dropping deep in midfield, fades to go one way then the other, up against Brennan Johnson. Now it's Scowen, just turns one way then the other. A foul, I think, has gone against Brennan Johnson there. Johnson not too happy with his team's performance so far. He's barking out the orders from the sidelines, and it's not too surprising really. They've not been too great going forward, and we've hardly seen Charlie White so far in a blue shirt. I see something very interesting before the game. 4 years ago today, Sunderland were preparing for a last day clash in the Premier League against Chelsea. 4 years ago today, the Imps were in the National League, so shows you the way that these two sides have come, and retaining some of their players from the Championship is something that Sunderland have done. And although they've been in the League One for 3 recurring seasons now, they're looking to get out of it. They've only spent 4 years in the club's history below the second division, these last 3 being the lion's share of those. Looking to get out of League One into the Championship through this playoff campaign. Skipper Max Power barking out the orders from the middle of the pitch like his manager from the sidelines. Very experienced member of the squad that's looking to help his team do so. And it's a poor touch in the middle of the park now by Rodgers as he loses out possession to Gooch. Gooch goes one way then the other down the right hand side, and I think a throw-in's being given on the far side of the field. I think that Gooch was looking for a free kick there, and I think Rodgers is just as baffled by that decision as well. But play goes on now as Gooch tries a trick down the right side. It falls to O'Neill. O'Neill into the feet of Gooch once again. O'Neill on his left foot now has a strike at goal. It's deflected, comes to Iyoma. Well under possession though, he's very calm on the ball there, tries to flick it forward up towards Hopper. Runs past him, and he's swept up nicely by Bailey Wright. And on the right hand side is Power. Into McGeady. He gets himself in the game in a deep central position, drives forward down the left hand side, looking for options running forward. Eventually plays it out to the left hand side to find Fanzia. 1-2 with him. McGeady, early cross once into the far post. That one up to Charlie White. It goes over the top of him. And once again, it's a call to action for Joe Bursick. And he answers it by cleaning everything up for his new side. And once again, it's another Sunderland attack that really comes to nothing in the end. Foul just giving against Luke O'Neill now. Middle of the park. I think he just fouled George Grant for a moment, but Lincoln happy to play it quickly and along the ground now as Grant flicks it out to the left hand side in towards Ajura, tries to step that one back into the box. It's just missed the feet of Rodgers there, and now Power plays it out through the midfield in towards Josh Scowen. Drives past Scully. Hopper recovering as he just clips Scowen. Does he? No, he doesn't. Scowen told to get back to his feet by the referee. Hopper looked as though he was going in for the tackle there, but the referee judged that he didn't touch Scowen. Scowen just touched the ball forward. It dribbled out for a throw-in. The referee judged that he was looking for it, and seeing a replay, there's no foul in that. Good decision from referee Craig Hicks. Iyoma brings the ball out for the back for Lincoln, plays it back into Bridcut now, pressed quickly by Gooch. At the feet of Bursick. Looking to come forward, fires it left-footed out to the right wing. It's bulleted over to that side, but the thumbs go up. The thumb goes up there from Regan Poole, but I'm not sure he would have liked to get his head on the end of that one. He's so sweetly struck by Bursick, and not just that. It's the way that Regan Poole is looking. He's looking into the sun as well. So any misjudgment on a header, and that certainly could have hurt. But unless Poole happy to receive balls like that, you see, it seems. So unfortunately for them, it's not one that works out in an attacking sense for the Imps. As Monsma fires it down the right hand side once again, it will go all the way through to Grant. He plays it out short, and Sunderland will play out from the back. It's a very even game so far. It is edgy, it's a bit scrappy in the midfield areas, not too much in terms of free-flowing football, but now Lincoln have a chance as it comes to Johnson on the right hand side, sets it out on his right foot, strikes across goal, it hits the post, bounces back, and then it's headed out of play. by a Sunderland man. Just as I was saying, there was no free-flowing football. It's Brennan Johnson on his right foot. It's a good strike. It looked as though he'd lost momentum. It was a good initial touch from him to turn forward and a good second touch, but it looked as though two Sunderland defenders came across. He struck it across goal. Lee Burge couldn't get there. It struck the post, bounced back out, and I think in the end it's Luke O'Neill who just puts his head on it and knocks it out of play as the corner comes in. Headed out of play at the near post. It will be another corner, but that is the closest now we've come to a goal. Brennan Johnson hitting the post there. I could say unfortunate from him, but he looked as though he snuck it through a couple of the Sunderland legs. Didn't quite strike it as cleanly as he would have liked, but it's whipped in once again by Lincoln. In towards the far post. It's on the head of Rogers, Can't direct his header towards goal. It'll dribble out for a goal kick. What a good chance that is from Morgan Rogers. Whether the Suns played a part in that, I'll have to see a replay, but what a great chance. We'll just see an initial replay now of Rogers striking across goal. It took a bobbles off the ground and clipped the post, bounced back out, and good defensive work from O'Neill to just put it out of play, but a good strike from Brennan Johnson. He's been a spark in this Lincoln side. And, a 19-year-old Welshman whose birthday it is in 4 days' time. It will be the day after the second leg at the Stadium of Light. He turns 20. He's come the closest so far in this game, but now Scully coming forward down the right hand side. Flanagan takes a chance and leaves that one to bounce across his own 6-yard box. Lincoln certainly coming into this one with some momentum as a tackle in the midfield. Somehow that falls for Charlie White for Sunderland, and then he's fouled. Tackle from behind by Yoma. The fans not happy with that one on the sidelines, but it certainly looked like a foul to me. But Scully this time on the right hand side for Lincoln whips it right across the front post, and Tom Flanagan must have been absolutely sure there was no one coming in behind him, but there was. It was Tom Hopper had just got in front of Bailey Wright. Neither of them were going to get there, but Tom Flanagan had to be so confident of himself there. Otherwise it could have been a disastrous leave from him. Sunderland trying to win the ball high up the field as Tom Hopper just flicks on a header, but just gifts possession back to the Black Cats. O'Neill goes down the right hand side into Jones. Jones driving inside now, goes past Morgan Rogers. There's a great drive from Jones, but Rogers recovers, plays the ball into Ayoma's feet. He has a chance to drive out from the back now, looking for options, plays it short or tries to. One in there by Scowen. Square to Power on the halfway line. Into the feet of Jones, is it? No, it's a great interception by Bridcut. Great experience shown by him there. Hopper, he now turns and is clipped, and he loses the ball to Scowen. But the touch from Scowen goes long and will be picked up all the way at the back by Joe Bursick. But a good few moments play there. The closest we've seen to a goal, certainly. It's come Lincoln's way. Closing into the last 10 minutes of the first half between Lincoln and Sunderland, and the home side have come the closest to scoring just a couple of moments ago. It's the young 19-year-old, the Welshman, Brennan Johnson, driving through midfield, picked up the ball, touched it on his right foot. A couple of Sunderland men slid in front of him, but he struck it across goal. Lee Burge couldn't get there. It hit the post in the end, bounced back, and Luke O'Neill had to put the ball out of play for a corner. But the closest we've seen to a goal so far. The ball bobbled across the ground a couple of times, but more free-flowing football like that will certainly be entertaining on the eye as we come towards the end of the first half. It's still Lincoln 0, Sunderland 0. Sunderland coming forward themselves now, played the ball onto the edge of the box. It's a strike by Gooch, goes over the bar, but I think that one has taken a deflection, has it? I'll just have to see a replay. It was a good flick from Gooch, a good step over, took it onto his right foot against Bridcut, and it certainly did take a flick off the Lincoln skipper. So it will be a corner kick to Sunderland, who really have yet to put any sort of danger on the Lincoln goal as the corner's whipped in, headed out well by Hopper, picked up by Max Power, puts it back into the box, out comes the goalkeeper, touches it once, touches it twice. Free kick will go his way though, and he gets some acclaim there, does Joe Bursick, from his captain Liam Bridcut. He came out for that step back from Max Power, and he was challenged underneath it, I think, by Charlie White. White was never going to get there. Busick did well, kept his eyes on it the whole way. Did drop it, but that was only caused by the contact from a Sunderland striker. Alex Palmer on the bench, not on the bench, sorry, he's in the stands, but he's not on the bench, of course, with that head injury. 59 times this season for Lincoln, and at the wrong moment gets a head injury and can't play in the playoffs for a side he's been such a key part of this season. He'd have absolutely loved to play in this game. We'll have to see whether, once the protocols have taken place, he'll be allowed to play in the second leg. But not allowed to play in this one, but he won't mind too much if his side are able to win this one. There's a foul given against Charlie White once again on this near side. Free kick taken quickly by Brennan Johnson. Good work from him again. Just instigating this game, putting a bit of spark and a bit of life into it, the young 19-year-old midfielder. He's not got the ball too much in this game, but he's just playing it quickly and bringing his team forward, as Bridcut just has to roll the ball backwards now to George Grant, and shows frustration in doing so. He's not happy with the way his team are laying themselves out in front of him, but he'll be more than happy with how his central midfield teammate Brennan Johnson is playing. As Busick fires out from the back, it's a chest on the right hand side there by Poole, but it's poor from him and lost now by Power in midfield as Sunderland had won the ball back. Bridcut challenges in midfield, wins it, plays it on, he wins himself a free kick as well there. Actually, he just went sliding in with Lyndon Gooch. Gooch got their second, and as the foul has gone against Gooch, Bridcut put his hands in the air. He knew it was a 50-50 call there for the referee. He didn't want any responsibility for any foul given, but it was Gooch who fouled as Lincoln flick it forward. It's headed on by Hopper in towards Brennan Johnson, but goes past him. It's now fired forward by Sunderland. White taken down on the ball there, and free kick goes against Lewis Montsma. He gets to his feet quickly, not happy with the referee's decision, but just to have wrestled Charlie White to the ground there. White backed in towards Montsma, and that's just clever play from Charlie White, I have to say. There's not too much in it at all, but White knew exactly what he was doing. Backed into the defender and puts his chest up towards the ball as if he was going to receive it. And a great chance for Sunderland, and their fantastic goal and assist partnership to try and link up here. It's Sada McGeady and Charlie White. They're only betted in terms of joining up this season by Heung-min Son and Harry Kane in the top four leagues. For Spurs, as McGeady will whip this one in right-footed towards the penalty spot. It's flicked down by a Lincoln head, eventually fired up into the air, cleared by Lincoln, headed forward by Gooch. He'll have to do it again, although get some help from Jones. Well swept out to the left-hand side by Bailey Wright, so he stays forward. McGeady on his right foot tries to flick it in. It's deflected by Grant, then headed away by Johnson. Taken down by Power. Fakes to play the ball forward, does well there to stay away from the press of Tayo Ijura. Switched by Sunderland out to the right-hand side. Scampering inside is Scowen, looking forward, out to the right hand side to O'Neill, into Jordan Jones, wide on the right hand side, getting chalk on his boots, whips it in towards White, gets touched by Ayoma, headed forward by Sunderland, fired forward in the midfield though by Lincoln, and that one will just dribble out for a throw-in, but good frantic football there, entertaining on the neutral's eye. Nice to see more of that in the second half, and it'd be nice to see some goals as well. It's still goalless between these two sides if you've just joined us. Pretty even, but Lincoln have come the closest, hitting the post to Brennan Johnson. But now Sunderland getting a head of steam. It's played ball into the midfield areas. It's Gooch, turns quickly on his left foot, has a strike from distance. It just goes wide. It's a good effort there from Lyndon Gooch. Fantastic work from him. He turns quickly past Bridcut, happy to take it on his left foot. It's not far wide at all. Joe Busick scrambling to his right hand side. Gooch whipped it around Montsma. It was curling in towards that far post, and I tell you what, there were a few flinches in the stands from Lincoln fans there. They were thinking, oh no, this is going in. But Gooch's strike didn't quite curl enough. Closest Sunderland have come so far. Lyndon Gooch with 24 goals in a Sunderland shirt in his 167 appearances. It's not exactly a prolific return, but he's not averse to a goal. showing his ability there. That's what Sunderland need to do. You have to say they've just not troubled Joe Bursick whatsoever. For a debutant keeper at a new club on an emergency loan, first game in the first leg of a playoff semi-final, you've got to put him under pressure. And they just haven't so far. Charlie White has been marked out of the game by the Lincoln defence so far. No matter who it is, whether it's Adam Jackson who's gone off, or Lewis Montsma who's come on, or Timothy Ioma who's been on the whole time, as the throw-in comes in long from Sunderland into the box, headed out by Lincoln. Power picks it up, lays it back to McFadzean, with Scowen on the left hand side. Got McGeady for support. McGeady flicks it past Scully. Scully takes him out, and that will certainly be a free kick. And now another chance for Sunderland. A succession of set piece opportunities from the left hand side. Can they get one of them right? It was just such sharp work from Aidan McGee. He's such an experienced man, and he's played so many games. And 35 years old, the Irishman is still as sharp as ever. Still more than happy to provide a trick or two. He's 16 assists so far in the league this season. That tops the charts. George Honeyman, who's one behind for Hull, who's close. As McGeady puts his hands to the sky, whips it in towards the penalty spot once again. It's easily headed out though, straight to a Lincoln red shirt as Power picks it up. We've played a minute of the 3 added time in this first half, incidentally, as Johnson puts in a tackle on Max Power, gives away a foul, does Johnson. I think he's complaining to the ref, saying I didn't even push him, it was just a shoulder-to-shoulder nudge, but foul goes Power's way as Jordan Jones whips this one in. It's knocked out. It's McGeady on the edge of the box, whips it towards goal. It's hitting row Z, shall we say that, from Aidan McGeady. He's in a good position. He's on the join from the 18-yard box and the D on the edge of it, right on that corner on the left-hand side. A good chance to open up his body on his right foot and whip it towards the top right-hand corner. He's done just that, but he's leant back and whipped it well over Joe Bursick's goal. He'll take his time from this goal kick. That's another good opportunity from Sunderland as this first half closes. The battle between Flanagan and Hopper sees the ball bobble towards Power. It's fired forward by Sunderland. Touchdown off the shoulder of Charlie White, but he's adjudged to have wrestled and put his arm across the face of Lewis Montsma, so a foul goes against Charlie White. He can't quite... Not the correct decision for me. With about 45 seconds to go in this first half, it's been an even one. Often like this, either side really wants to make a mistake and they want to take it to the second leg. But Lincoln would be team going in slightly more aggrieved at the half, given they've probably had the better opportunities in this game. As Power heads forward to Wyke now, one at the back by Ioma. Paul sweeps it forward as well. O'Neill heads it in towards Power. From him to step away from Brennan Johnson. Scowen into McGeady, turns quickly, fires it into Gucci. Ioma reads the play really well though. Chance for Lincoln to come forward. Johnson fires it forward and he fires it into Max Power though. As O'Neill drives forward again. Played the 3 minutes of added time, and the referee Craig Hicks says that's enough of the first half. We've seen some fantastic opportunities for both sides to create something. They just haven't done that final third movement or pass to open things up. It's a nervy, edgy first half of the first leg of the League One playoffs. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at half time. At half-time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless. It's a nervy and edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford, and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg, the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg, the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg, the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg, the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford. Don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg, the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg, the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg, the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg, the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg, the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg, the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg, the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg, of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first leg of the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. One they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly got away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Half time in the first half between Lincoln City and Sunderland in the League One playoffs. It's goalless, it's a nervy and an edgy one. Neither side really willing to take too many risks in this. The one they saw the result in the other fixture, the one between Oxford and Blackpool, that suddenly away from Oxford and they don't want to repeat it. It's been an even one, not too many chances in the first 45. It's Lincoln City 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Well, we'll leave that there for the break as the two teams are out for the second half. And once again, a warm welcome along to this independent off-tube studio commentary. Myself, Matt and Guy, to bring you the action of the second half of the first leg of the League One playoff semi-final between Lincoln City and Sunderland. If you're just joining us, you've not missed too much. There's been no goals so far in the game, goalless in the first half and not too many chances. Although Brennan Johnson hit the post for Lincoln, and then Gooch had a good strike with his left boot, but just went wide of the left-hand upright of Joe Bursick's goal. we're certainly hoping for some more goalmouth action in this second half. And I hope I'm not wrong with this, and I hope I don't give us the commentator's curse, but I've got a feeling that we will, as Lincoln are cheered on by, of course, 3,000 fans inside their stadium tonight, providing that extra boost. Side who have done better away from home than at home this season by a tally of 45 points to 32. 30-point swing away from home, but 3,000 fans might swing that their way tonight, as it's a corner cross from a free kick whipped in by Lincoln. It bounces off one head and somehow bobbles up for Lee Burge to come out and grab that one. He launches it out quickly on the counter-attack down the left-hand side for Aidan McGeady to chase, and he's quickly just been cut across and covered there by Timothy Ayoma. Good pace from the centre half, but Sunderland play it quickly from the throw-in. It's in towards the feet once again of Lyndon Gooch. Sprays it out to the right hand side in towards Jordan Jones on his right foot, cuts inside on his left, looking for a shooting opportunity. Does just that. Is a good save off the bar, and it just hits the post again and goes out of play for a corner kick. A great save by debutant goalkeeper Joe Bursick. Some absolute spark in this second half. Electric work from Jordan Jones off the right hand side, fires it forward. An outstretched left hand just claws the ball out of the back of the net. A great save from Joe Bursick, and he's proving his worth in that emergency loan. Tips the ball onto the bar, and already in this second half we've seen a fantastic piece of play as McGeady takes the resulting corner towards the far post. It's hit off the bar once again. This time a header at the far post. Is an open header. It had to hit the back of the net, but no. The game is still goalless. It's McGeady once again on the right side in towards Jones. Jones on his right foot this time. Good tricks from him. Just holds onto the ball for the moment. Gives it back to Aidan McGeady. I'd love to see a replay of that corner. It was a fantastic take by Aidan McGeady. Somebody had to hit the back of the net there, but somehow the header hits the bar. What a fantastic chance. Two early chances for Sunderland in the second half. A quick throw-in taken down the left by the Black Cats up towards Charlie White. Tries to hold that one up. It's cleared by Ayoma. Picked up at the back though on the left-hand side by Callum McFadzean. Plays down to the left-hand side. Whipped in by Power. Headed out then by Ijora, and he goes out for a throw-in on the far side. I think it was the head of Bailey Wright who's headed that ball from the corner. It was a powerful header and a fantastic whip in from Aidan McGeady. Out-swinging ball came in towards Bailey Wright. He got past his marker. He's in front of two men. He's got to score there, Bailey Wright. He's got to score. Sunderland with a long throw-in into the box. It's flicked on by a Lincoln head, almost forced towards Gooch, and that one's going to be given a foul at that front post on the Lincoln men. But he's in front of both Ayoma and Lewis Montsma there, Bailey Wright. He's running straight onto the ball. He's got eyesight of it. He's not distracted by the sun. He's got a free header. I think the keeper can't react to it. It's such a powerful header, and he's just not hit the target. He's fired it straight onto the bar in the middle of the goal. And what a huge chance that could be in the context of this tie. Sunderland have started the second half absolutely brilliantly, just not hit the back of the net as Hopper tries to flick on a long ball forward. He's lost out though, and now O'Neill running down the right hand side. Hopper recovers though, does well to flick that one back to Ijora, plays it down the left hand side, fires it into the feet of Morgan Rogers. Good work from him. Max Power fouling him. Advantage played as Rogers runs on, cuts inside on his right foot, back to his left, dribbles through a couple of men, but that one scampers away, and it's cleared off the left boot there at the back by Flanagan. McGeady now picks it up, drops back to his own half with the ball at his feet, and goes back to Lee Burge now. But a frantic first 4.5 minutes in this second half. Long one up to White, good chest down in towards Jones. Good tackle though from Ayoma. McGeady just pulling the strings in the middle of the park once again. Scowen, Power looking long up towards White, backs into Montsma, chests it down in towards McGeady, sorry, in towards Gooch. It's just control for a moment, but Bridcut was adjudged to have been fouled there by Lyndon Gooch. But a great start to the second half. A great drive down the left hand side, this time from Rogers. Power knew exactly what he was doing, trying to bring him down, but couldn't quite do so, and in the end it just wasn't succinct enough from Morgan Rogers. On the right flank now for Lincoln, it's Regan Poole just trying to get Lincoln back into the game. They are level, but they've been under the cosh in this second half, as on that left-hand side, Scully just plays it into the feet of Johnson, turns quickly, flicks it back through to Scully, man on the edge of the box, it's cut back in towards Grant, shoots, does he score? No, he doesn't, it's saved. Then somehow Sunderland scramble that clear. Now it's Lincoln's turn to should have scored. It's Grant once again on the left-hand side, shoots and goal, it's deflected, back post, he's stuck into the back of the net. A crazy piece of football, and finally it's Tom Hopper, the man who just can't find a goal at the minute, hadn't scored in 12 games, has hit the back of the net. What a fantastic start to the second half we've seen, and Lincoln City have taken the lead at home in the first leg of this playoff tie. It's just scrambled towards that far post. You thought that George Grant had to score. It was cut as it was cut back to him. It was a save initially by Burge. Sunderland looked to have scrambled it clear, but suddenly Lincoln driving forward. I think it's Bridcut in midfield. It comes back to Grant. He shoots towards the far post. It somehow scrambles through. Then Hopper just fires it into the back of the net and runs up with an arm in the air like Alan Shearer. It's a huge, huge goal that for Lincoln. They've taken the lead. As the 51st minute strikes in this game between Lincoln and Sunderland, we finally had the breakthrough. It's the home side who have taken the lead. It was first Sunderland who looked like they'd scored through Wright, who had hit the bar from a header, but Lincoln go down the other end. Grant had a chance as it cut back to him on the penalty spot. He should have scored himself, but Bridcut wins the ball back, drives into the box. Grant shoots, it scrambles towards the far post, and the man who hadn't scored in 12 games, it's Tom Hopper at the far post, right place at the right time, steers the ball into the back of the net. It's Lincoln 1, Sunderland 0. A huge goal in this tie. And a frantic few minutes, you have to say. But what a moment that is for Lincoln City. They've taken the lead against Sunderland, who looked as though they'd started this second half fantastically, the away side. But they just couldn't hit the back of the net, and in the end, just a piece of determination really from Bridcut in the middle of the park to just drive through with the ball. And Grant's shot, although it wasn't fantastic, did just enough to go to the back post. And Hopper was Johnny on the spot, able to steer it home. And on the right hand side, Luke O'Neill has just won a free kick for Sunderland. But they just need to play how they were in the first 5 minutes of this second half. They were the team on top. They hit the bar not only through Jordan Jones but also Bailey Wright. Just didn't hit the back of the net, and that chance from Bailey Wright, how important is that now as Sunderland with the ball into the box? It's flipped on by a couple of men. It will be a goal kick, sorry. In the end, the chance goes begging for Sunderland. This time Charlie White with the flick on. But had he been the man on the header that Bailey Wright had, maybe he'd hit the back of the net. But as it wasn't right man at the right time for Sunderland, it certainly was for Lincoln. Tom Hopper right there. It all came from that move down the right hand side as Scully cut it back into Grant. He was slightly off balance, leaning to his left hand side, trying to find the bottom left hand corner, only hit it down the... Bridcut did it brilliantly initially, whipped back in, nobody cleared, Flanagan couldn't pick it up. He put his arms up towards the linesman on the far side of the field claiming for offside, but he certainly wasn't. Over there, Hopper, I think it was Flanagan himself who was playing him onside. Hopper was just lurking there, a poacher's finish, a poacher's goal, just slid the ball into the back of the net, and now the pressure is on the away side tonight. They need to try and get back into this one, but they've sent the 3,000 fans in the stadium into delirium. Have Lincoln with that goal. He's got 10 goals this season, Tom Hopper, that's his career best. And one of his most important goals in his career, you have to say, is on the left hand side. A strong challenge comes in from Luke O'Neill. He has a go at Morgan Rogers, saying he dived. It's Powers having a go as well at the fourth official. Luke O'Neill just needs to watch himself here for a moment. He's going to talk. It certainly wasn't a dive. There was a slight slip in there maybe from Morgan Rogers, but Luke O'Neill has fired into the tackle, and I have to say it's I don't like it when players lean over the top and have a go at the man that's gone down, claiming that they've dived or having a go at them. Not on from Luke O'Neill as far as I'm concerned. was a foul, and it looked as though Rodgers could have been hurt in that, as this time he puts in a tackle and wins the ball and takes out Jordan Jones, and the ball goes out in the end for a corner. Max Power will be the man that's going to complain to the referee, but I think Morgan Rodgers has stayed down here. He's slipped once again, this time on the second one. He's won the ball, but he's slipped and gone into Jordan Jones, and he's the man that's taken a knock to the face, I think, so the referee has stopped the play for a moment. Rodgers right in the thick of the action. But, it will be a corner for Lincoln. A chance to double their lead. It's going to be George Grant on this near side, so in-swinging right-footed corner towards the far post. The man's going to be underneath it, but it's going to be a Sunderland man. Flicks the ball away, and a foul given against Morgan Rodgers for a push in the back. And a free kick for Sunderland, and Lee Burge to take them inside his own box. Incidentally, the other games also on this service at this time. You've got Everton against Wolves, Newcastle against Sheffield United, Tottenham against Aston Villa, and Crystal Palace against Arsenal, all in the Premier League. Of course, those are the penultimate games to the Premier League season. Everton are winning 1-0, Newcastle are winning 1-0, and Aston Villa, after going a goal down to Tottenham, are now leading 2-1. But my eyes are fully focused on this League One affair. And it's certainly going to be a frantic and entertaining last 35 minutes in this game, as down the right hand side comes Luke O'Neill for Sunderland, over to Jordan Jones, just cuts back on his left foot, just gets clipped there by Morgan Rodgers. Rodgers feeling that wasn't a foul, but it looked as though Jones had just flicked it off his toes, and it just slightly caught him or blocked off his movement there, Rodgers. So a free kick for Sunderland in a right-winged crossing position. So we'll see who comes across to take this one. It's a good opportunity for a left footer, although Aidan McGeady has assisted so many goals this season that you'd fancy him to take it. Although Jones will probably fancy himself away as well, given that he is a right winger. Bailey right in the box. He should have scored that previous chance. Can he atone for it now? We'll wait and see. He's just in front of the penalty spot, being marked by Timothy Ioma. So Jones is going to be the man to take here. Just raises his left arm to block the sun, whips it towards the far post. It's going to be a header from O'Neill, switches towards the other post. It just goes over the bar in the end. Luke O'Neill not quite able to direct that one either on target or to one of his teammates. As Lincoln play quickly out from the back. Montsma fires it up towards Hopper. It's knocked back in towards midfield. Montsma in for a tackle once again. This time picked up by McFadzean. Power just calms the play down for a moment, playing it back to Flanagan. Power picks it up in midfield once again. This time 1-2 with Bailey Wright. Flanagan once again steps into the Lincoln half, looking for movement. Scowen's move, now Gooch's move, but he's flicking it in behind towards Wyke. It's a good header out by Montsma, but comes to McGeady on his right foot, takes it down, controls it nicely. Back to Wyke again on his right foot, tries to lay that one off, picked up by Gooch on his left foot, steps onto his right, strikes from distance. That one's blocked and bounces comfortably into the arms of Joe Bursick, who goes down holding the ball like a giraffe, stooping for water. Just holds onto the ball for a moment, eventually rolls it out to Timothy Ioma. Bridcut back to Bursick once again, fires it first time left footed forward towards Hopper, underneath the ball, flicks that one on, but covering there is Luke O'Neill, and the run forward from George Grant is unneeded in the end, and he shows his frustration as he has to run back into a defensive position. Although we have played 15 minutes in this second half, we'll run through the two team lineups for you once again. It's Bursick, of course, between the sticks for Lincoln, a back four of Poole, now Montsma, who came on for Adam Jackson, Ioma and Ijura, midfield of Johnson, Bridcut and Grant, and Rodgers on the left, Scully on the right, and Hopper up top, the goal scorer for Lincoln. As for Sunderland, it's a back four with Burge in the sticks, with O'Neill right back, right, and Flanagan the centre backs. But Fanzian has come on for Denver Hume. He came on in the 11th minute at left back. Power, Scowen in midfield with Ian Jones on the flanks, and Gooch floating in behind Charlie Wyke. As Power and Scowen lead the protestations towards referee Craig Hicks here, as a foul has gone against Sunderland, and a yellow card will come out for Lyndon Gooch here, I think, or is it Luke O'Neill? I'll just have to waiting for confirmation of that. It was O'Neill who went into a challenge, just held his foot up, held off George Grant and shoved him and wrestled him to the floor. Yep, that's a yellow card, no question. Luke O'Neill just needs to watch himself. I didn't mention a couple of moments ago that he was being a little bit silly with his actions, having a go at Morgan Rogers for going down under one of his tackles, saying that he dived but he didn't. And now Luke O'Neill has got himself in the book by wrestling. And then Lincoln man to the ground. As now he done cuts back on the right hand side, plays it back in towards Rogers. As a striker goal, he's not quite hit that one as he wanted, and it goes out comfortably for a goal kick in the end. Good work from Idun on the right hand side, just laid back by Grant in towards Rogers, but his strike wasn't on the money. O'Neill at right back goes square across the defensive line in towards Flanagan. Flanagan square now as well, but this time into Bailey Wright. Flanagan, power, left hand side, into Flanagan again. It's good positional work here from Lincoln. Long ball down the left hand side for Sunderland. Scully's underneath it, but they all miss it as Montsma just fires that one into the stands. Taking no risks there, Lewis Montsma. Throw-in taken eventually by Sunderland. McGeady to the left hand side finds McFadzean and whipped towards the front post. Montsma's there in front of Charlie Wykers, and it's cleared once again by Poole. This time that one comes off McFadzean and will go for a throw on the far side of the field, but well dealt with that, Lincoln. They'd absolutely love to take a lead going into the second leg of this playoff tie. 60 years since they were in the Championship, Lincoln City. As mentioned before, just 4 years ago they were in the National League. And, could rise 2 ranks within 4 years to get into the Championship. Should they progress through the playoffs this season? As in from the right hand side comes Jones for Sunderland in a midfield position. As Wright's put under pressure, has to cut backwards, looking for options backwards. Scowen's there to provide an option, but he goes back all the way to Lee Burge instead. Now with Flanagan, goes long down the left hand side. McGeady's in behind Poole here on the left flank, looking for options as well. Will he cut back on his right foot? Tricks from him, looking to chip it in towards the box. He does just that. Flying header from Bridcut, edge of the box is power, blocked though is the shot by Ioma, and now Lincoln look to break as well. Grant just gets the ball caught under his feet for a moment, couldn't play the ball forward, but it was a great opportunity there for Lincoln to break. Now he done loses the ball. Jones running forward with it, looking for options, goes square left in towards Gooch. Gooch out left to McGeady once again, just inside the 18-yard box, cuts back on his right foot, sends a man to the ground, has a shot at goal. It's a great save, left-handed save there by the goalkeeper. He's just claiming for the game to be stopped for a moment. I think he's injured here, Joe Bursick. Oh, it's just cramp, I think, in the end. I don't know how he's picked up cramp as a goalkeeper when he's not played in a couple of weeks, but a great piece of play from Aidan McGeady, cutting in from that left-hand side. Great tricks from him. He put Regan Poole on the ground, and then a good save from Bursick. A strong left hand there from Bursick, but good work from McGeady, but couldn't quite find the corner. Sunderland showing their teeth, coming forward once again. Bursick once again showing his goalkeeping quality. Just receiving some treatment now, and when I say treatment, I think he's just going to receive one of those sugar gels to put some energy into him. As I said, he looked as though he just picked up a bit of cramp there in the right leg. A bit of experienced play, trying to get the game stopped. His team were under pressure. He stretches his calf out now. A few Lincoln fans rise to their feet to clap. Joe Bursick, his 4th club this season. Stoke, Doncaster, Peterborough and Lincoln. Can he keep this clean sheet for Lincoln as they lead 1-0 coming into the last 25 minutes of the game? Lincoln Now trying to defend a Sunderland corner from the far side. Jones will look to whip this one in, does so just towards the far post. Charlie White's underneath it, but a good header in there from Tom Hopper. Bridcut now, and a play will be stopped as there's a head injury inside the box. It was a collision between Wyke and Regan Poole in there. Poole has taken a knock and now will receive some treatment. Well, since that's Lincoln goal on the 64th. Since that Lincoln goal on the 51st minute, through Tom Hopper, it's been Sunderland who have been the team coming forward, and they just came close a couple of minutes ago as Aidan McGeady cut in off the left flank. He provided a couple of step-overs, a couple of tricks, put one defender on the ground, then he struck the ball right-footed towards the bottom right-hand corner with a good save, a good strong left hand from debutant goalkeeper Joe Bursick. Kept the ball out of the back of the net. So it's still Lincoln 1, Sunderland 0, but Sunderland on the front foot. Just seeing replays of the chances and of course the goal for Lincoln. Two brilliant chances, you have to say, from Sunderland before that goal went in. Jones strike on his left boot, and then the header from Bailey Wright. He really should have done better. It could only head straight onto the Lincoln bar. I'm sure that Joe Bursick was mightily relieved to hear the metal clanging from that header. You just see a replay now. As, I think it was Bailey Wright who fell on top of Regan Poole, which has caused that few moments stoppage in play. As though a couple of Sunderland substitutions are going to come onto the field now. The second and third substitutions. It looks as though the experience of Grant Leadbitter is going to come onto the field, but I'll wait for confirmation as the substitutions haven't been made yet and players recommenced. Fired forward by Sunderland. A little shove there from Charlie Wyke on Lewis Montsma, and it will be a free kick to the Imps. Wyke has just become a growingly frustrated figure in this game. He's not had the service that he really would have liked. And he certainly did just run straight into Lewis Montsma there. So foul definitely going to be given. I think the other substitution, when it's confirmed, maybe Ross Stewart coming onto the field. As I get confirmation, yes, it's Max Power off for Grant Leadbitter and Jordan Jones off for Ross Stewart. So two changes for Sunderland. And, like for like one in midfield in Power off for Leadbitter, and Ross Stewart on for Jordan Jones. So we may see a slight change around in forward positioning. Stewart more of a man that likes to operate down the centre of the field. Whether that means that potentially Gooch goes wide and Stewart goes down the middle, we'll see how that one plays out. Gooch himself has been a busy bee in attacking midfield, trying to link things up with Charlie Wyke. It's just not quite worked, that link-up play this game so far. To say Lincoln probably deserve to be in lead on the balance of things. As Scowen and Leadbitter just lay the ball off to their centre halves for a moment. And driving forward with the ball is Bailey Wright. Out to the right hand side is O'Neill. Leadbitter just turns the ball around the corner over to the right hand side to find Gooch out wide on the right flank. He's just come across Dunn there as Dunn just fires it down the line. It's taken under his wing there by Brennan Johnson, who we've not really seen so far in this second half. He's just been stuck to chasing things around since Lincoln went ahead, and now McGeady turns quickly in the midfield. Fires it down the right hand side in towards Gooch. Gooch trying to get past Dunn. Goes on his right foot, looks to cross the ball early. Whips it towards the penalty spot, laid off by Stewart. Back to McGeady, edge of the box, the left footed strike, got just over the bar. He can't believe he puts his hand to his head once again. It's a great chance for Aidan McGeady. He shakes his head. He knows he should have done better. but it's a lovely piece of play on the right hand side by Gooch, and a good layoff, you have to say, by I think it's the substitute Ross Stewart. I think Charlie White was claiming that they should have been, sorry, it's the other way round, a White layoff in towards McGeady to provide a goal to McGeady for all the goals that McGeady has provided White this season. But Ross Stewart was in there complaining, saying there should have been a penalty, but nothing was given, as White plays it off once again to Gooch. Tackle comes flying in, advantage will be played as it's played up towards White, lays it back off as a foul on White this time, as it's fired forward down the right hand side. Will play be brought back as O'Neill was running down the right hand side. I'm not 100% sure. I think the advantage was adjudged to have been played, but a couple of fouls in the midfield there, and no surprise, a yellow card will come the way of Imp skipper Liam Bridcut. Fired straight through the back of Charlie White as he laid one off. The initial challenge came in from Monsbury, didn't collide with Gooch. Just see a replay there, Bridcut complaining that the yellow card has been given to him. I don't think he intended to make any contact, just trying to block things off. But in the end, the way it worked, Charlie White went straight over the top of him. It looked dangerous for the big man. Yes, the initial tackle from Monsma didn't collide with Gooch, but it meant that Gooch had to acrobatically jump out of the way, which sent him to the ground. It was certainly a foul, but nothing worthy of a yellow card, and Nick Hicks, the referee, rightly got that correct. As now down the left-hand side comes Sunderland once again. It's McGeady trying to take on Bridcut, goes down the left-hand side, cuts it back with the left foot, just crosses the ball towards the far post. O'Neill sees it go over his head, but it's recovered by Stewart. Back to Leadbitter, turns quickly, fires it into a central area. Scowen looking to try and create forward. Out to the right-hand side he goes to O'Neill. Onto his right foot, fires it towards the front post, looking for Stewart, but that one just dribbles in front of him, and it's collected by Joe Bursick there. Once again, it was a good cross towards the front post, but no one close enough to try and attack it. Just seeing the stats, both sides have had 3 shots on target, equal almost in terms of corners, 5 to 4 in Lincoln's favour. Sunderland have had 15 attempts to Lincoln's 11. Possessions being Sunderland's with 58% of it, but Sunderland just haven't hit the target. They hit the bar through Bailey Wright. McGeady had a strike that was well saved by Bursick, but should have hit the target with that left-footed effort just a few moments ago. Gooch had that good strike from distance that curled wide of the left hand upright. Of course, Jones had that effort that was tipped onto the bar by Joe Bursick as well. But Lincoln have also had their shots. Scully was just over in the first couple of minutes. Monsma had that volley. So Lean breaks forward now for Sunderland down the right hand side, whips the ball in towards Stewart. He's just got caught underneath him there. Couldn't quite get the desired contact to turn that one on target. Forget that Brennan Johnson also hit the post in the first half, as well as Hopper's goal in the second, but it was good work down the right hand side by Gooch, battling with Edun. And Mean whipped in a good ball towards the front post. He puts his hands to his head as he knew that Stewart maybe could have got a touch on the ball, but Gooch has won it back once again. Cross has deflected, it's blocked away though, just cleared by Johnson. Heading to the right hand side, Johnson gets a chest on that one. Bridcut now, as the foul will go against Leadbitter, who just couldn't quite get there before the sprightly young Brennan Johnson in there. Of course, the experienced substitute, 34 years of age, just 15 years older than Brennan Johnson. The sprightly legs got there first. Peter took a knock to the head in that as well. 15 minutes to go though in this first leg. Lincoln come down the right hand side. Clearance is blocked by Scully. Almost Scully's in behind, but Tom Hopper just continues the press all the way back towards Lee Burge, who just has to hit the stands there. Claps rightly so for Tom Hopper's work rate there running forward. Lincoln men and women in the stands get to their feet to cheer their team on. See if they can get 2 goals ahead in this game. It would be a brilliant advantage to take to the Stadium of Light, would that? As the throw-in comes in, it's poorly lost though by Morgan Rogers. Looking a little tired as McGeady skips inside now, looking for runners forward. Stewart makes one, but fires it into the feet of Gooch, who turns quickly against the feet there of Scully. Ball back towards Bridcut, just flicks the ball over the feet of Gooch, and a foul goes against the Sunderland man. Bridcut complaining to the referee, saying maybe a card should have been brought out there. So Tayo Idun brings it out on the left hand side for Lincoln. Poor ball on the right hand side though by Poole. It's a poor chest from Stewart as well, but somehow the ball comes back in towards Leadbitter. Touch in the middle of the park by Scowen, tackled as well as Stewart comes forward. White's in behind, ball comes in behind for White here, strikes a goal. It's a good easy save though for Joe Bursick, and I think he may have been called offside there as well. He was Charlie White. He went early. He's not blessed with great pace, Charlie White, as Stewart fed him in. It looked as though Lincoln played a good line there, although seeing a replay there's questions of maybe Tayo Idun played him onside, but it won't matter anyway. Strike from the edge of the box, though it was going into the bottom left hand corner, was comfortably measured and watched by Joe Bursick all the way. Bursick will file on from the resultant free kick, but it doesn't go anywhere. But the ball's being cleared forward. It's won. It's a goal for Lincoln. It's a charged down piece of work. It's the man who hit the post in the first half. It's Brennan Johnson. And out of nowhere, Lincoln have doubled their lead. Lee Burge just took too long at the back, went to try and clear it. Johnson was running forward. I mentioned his sprightly legs earlier, charging down against Leadbitter. This time he's charged down Burge. He's blocked the clearance from Burge, and it's been bundled into the back of the net from Johnson. Out of nowhere, what a calamity of errors for the Black Cats and Sunderland. It was played back by Flanagan, and Burge just needed to get rid of that ball into a different direction. He's fired it straight into Brennan Johnson, and Johnson's work rate has paid off here as Lincoln have doubled their advantage. Into the last 15 minutes of the game between Lincoln and Sunderland, and the home team have doubled their advantage. It was a moment of calamities for Sunderland and the Black Cats. The ball fell in towards Tom Flanagan, who just picked up the ball. He just laid it off back towards his goalkeeper, and Lee Burge took too much time. Running straight onto it with great pressure was 19-year-old Welshman Brennan Johnson for Lincoln. He's running forward. He runs to try and block the clearance. He does just that. It bundles towards the back of the net, and he taps it in for good measure. Lincoln are 2 up in this playoff game. What a huge moment that is in the context of this game. His 13th goal of the season. Brennan Johnson puts his side 2 goals ahead, and Lee Johnson, his namesake, the Sunderland manager, is on the sidelines wondering what has gone wrong in this game. They've had their chances of hit the bar twice in this game, but the fans of Lincoln are just willing their team forward to win this game. And Johnson, with the wind in his sails, with the fans right behind his back, he's chasing forward and has picked up a goal. I'll say his 13th of the season, and has put Lincoln into an absolutely fantastic position now. 2 goals to the good. Be able to take that back to the state. You can't really give handball when he's so close to Burge. His hand is pretty much by his side as well. I'm sure that Sunderland fans will see that the opposite way. They'll see that he's controlled it with his arm, so should have been ruled out. But if you're going to point any anger, it's not towards the officials and Brennan Johnson. It's got to be towards Lee Burge. He's got to do better. He's got to see that Johnson is is bearing down on him. He's got to clear it to the left, just pass it out, or clear it to the right and hook it across the field. Instead, he's got to try and get a clean connection, knock it straight upfield, and it's just a straight hit Johnson. Unfortunately, you have to say it is fortunate for Johnson the way that it bounces towards the goal, and then he can just run past the goalkeeper and tap it in. Sunderland won't give up now as Leadbitter clips the ball into the box for a free kick. It's eventually cleared by Anthony Scully. Scooch will come across the near side to take the ball and take a throw in. They've had the chances in this game, Sunderland, and you would back them to create more in this second half as in these final few moments as Leadbitter clips the ball in towards the box. It's chested down by McGeady but lost to Johnson once again. Pulled down the right hand side, tackled by McGeady. Comes out for a throw in on the far side, and these Lincoln fans are right behind their team. They're leading in the first leg of the playoffs 2-0. Of course, we saw in the other game Oxford lose 3-0 at home against Blackpool. So you would fancy that whoever one of these two sides that goes through will be playing Blackpool at Wembley. And of course, anything can happen in the playoffs, but Sunderland really could do with an away goal here to take back to the stadium of light. A 1-goal deficit is so much better than a 2. As Ledbetter strikes towards goal, it's deflected. Tell you what, it just scampers wide. Joe Bursick was scrambling to his right hand side. He's got no right to shoot from there, Grant Ledbetter, but he just hits it, and it just scrambles. It I think hits the shin or the thigh actually of Timothy Ioma. Unfortunately for him, just bounces wide of Joe Bursick's goal, but he was scampered from his left to his right quickly. Did Bursick to try and cover that one. As the referee, Craig Hicks, will just have a word with the men inside the box now, particularly Tom Flanagan, just to say no wrestling in there. Stewart, White, Flanagan, the big men forward for Sunderland. McGeady to take this one, whips it in towards the far post once again. It's a header from Flanagan, but it's not directed where he wanted and just lands in the end on the top of Joe Bursick's net. It's clear that the nerves and the frustration are running through the veins of Lee Johnson on the sidelines. He's pacing around, as opposed to his opposite number, Michael Appleton is looking cool, calm and collected, just talking tactics with his members of staff on the sidelines. But the difference between the two managers is absolutely telling. It's just the way the game has gone. For the two managers, and it's a knock on the head here, I think, for George Grant in the midfield, just battling with Grant Ledbetter. Ledbetter wins the race and jumps up, puts an arm in front of him to protect himself, and Grant goes steaming straight through him, but didn't stop the arm from hitting the back of the head of Grant. George Grant, that is. And Ledbetter will have a free kick on the halfway line. He's pretty much sent everyone forward here for Sunderland. Clip this one to the left hand side of the box up towards Wyke. It's headed on towards the penalty spot. It's a good flick on, but Bridcut there is there. He's able to whip that one clear for Lincoln. It's clear the way this game is going to go for the last 8 minutes of this game. It's all hands to the deck for Lincoln to try and hold this 2-goal advantage as McGeady whips the ball in towards the box once again. Stewart trying to battle for that one. Grant clears it for the Imps once again though. Ledbetter picks it up, just turns backward for a moment looking for options, goes back towards Scowen. Scowen's in the centre circle. George Grant running out to try and meet him on the halfway line. He just goes short to the right hand side to find Lyndon Gooch. Scowen once again fakes to go left, goes right instead, feeds it into the feet of Ross Stewart. That's nice work, good hold at work from Ross Stewart as he lays it off now to Gooch once again. O'Neill is the option short, just plays a 1-2 back to Gooch, looking to cross this one in. It's blocked by Bridcut, goes out for a throw in. It did hit the corner, almost goes out for a corner, but it will just be a throw in for the Imps. Bridcut leading his team here to a 2-goal advantage at home in this playoff semi-final first leg. Former Sunderland man, an experienced player. We talked about that experience in the Sunderland lineup, but of course at the helm for Lincoln is Bridcut. Substitution will come for Lincoln soon, but O'Neill takes the throw in first. It's headed towards the front post. It's headed out by a Lincoln head. Goes back out to Gooch onto his left foot, pressured by Scully, clips it back in towards the box. The keeper comes out and Joe Bursick watches it all the way to a rapturous applause from his fans, praising him from behind the goal. He's filled in extremely well, you have to say. Joe Bursick done exactly what was required of him. To step into a new team a day before a playoff semi-final is a huge thing to ask, but he's done fabulously today. Saved Jones's shot onto the post. He saved McGeady's shot low to the bottom right hand corner as well. Anthony Scully, rather than the man that makes way here for Lincoln, and Conor McGrandles is the man to come on. That's on the 85th minute. Scully gets a round of applause from his 3,000 fans in the stands. McGrandles comes onto the field for some fresh legs for Lincoln. It's fed now to the left-hand side. It's a drive from that left-hand side by Morgan Rogers. It's a poor ball. He tried to feed it out to the right-hand side towards Poole. It's now picked up by McGeady, and Sunderland have a chance on the break, but he's taken out by George Grant there. I'm surprised the yellow card's not come out for stopping a counter-attack there from the referee. And indeed, a yellow card does come out, although Grant has a word with the referee. I don't know whether he was quickly called over, and the referee was just trying to take his time with that decision. But it looked as though it was the correct one in the end. Just a reminder, the second leg of this one, Saturday, it will be the decider to see which of the two teams joins Oxford or Blackpool at Wembley. Both sets of fans would love to have a Wembley trip at the end of this season, which just hasn't seen any fans at all. Finally, in the playoffs, they've been allowed to have 3,000 fans here at Cecil Bank, the stadium. I'm sure there'll be even more, potentially up to 10,000 fans at the Stadium of Light. It is a big ground, of course. On percentages, I believe. The free kick just goes the way of Lincoln in the middle of the park as they just try to see out the time here. Final few minutes of the game. We've come into the last 5. It's 86.5 minutes gone. We'll see how much added time is put on for substitutions, goal celebrations and injury breaks. Of course, Joe Bursick had one injury break or a bit of cramp. I would suspect maybe 3 to 4 minutes, depending on how many substitutions are made before the end of the game. We've seen 2 for Lincoln in this game, but of course only 1 in the second half, with McGrandles coming on. Ledbetter and Stewart have come on for Sunderland. See if they make any more changes as Poole whips the ball down the right hand side, but it's blocked by McGeady. It's out for a throw-in. As we just look back at Tom Hopper's goal in the early stages of the second half, it came at a perfect moment for Lincoln, you have to say. Sunderland on the front foot. And the second one was just a succession of errors from Sunderland. A really, really poor goal to give away. They will be kicking themselves that they've done that. Particularly Lee Burge, and those 2 goals for Lincoln, and the goals that separate the sides. So they just quickly win the ball back on the right hand side now through Regan. Poole does well, just flicks the ball off Ledbetter's shins, goes out for a throw-in on the far side of the field. Bridcut just orders some of his teammates around in the middle of the park. He's been exceptional today. Liam Bridcut cut out so much and organised his team. An absolute quarterback general going forward in orchestrating the play. Being brilliantly solid at the back when they've needed to be. Lincoln, as a long ball forward goes up to the left hand side towards Ross Stewart, goes down with a head injury, is it? Or is it an arm injury? The referee plays play on. Hopper battling in there against Flanagan, wins the second ball, looking for an option down the line, finds it. It's McFadzean, it's McGrandles on the right hand side, just gets pulled back by McFadzean. Flanagan, and free kick will go against the Sunderland man, trying to intimidate the linesman over there. I don't like that from Flanagan. Wasn't too much in the foul, you have to say, but he stared down the official there. Slightly resemblant to the way that Luke O'Neill was looking at Morgan Rogers earlier in the game, before he picked up a yellow card for wrestling Lyndon Gooch to the ground. Free kick here for Lincoln in the last minute of the game of regulation time. There's a line of 7 for Sunderland in a straight line just beyond the well, just to try and keep this thing shored up, but it's across towards the front post, flicked on towards the back post, and a bit slack there from Morgan Rogers, just trying to put the ball back into the box. He went with the outside of his right boot and on the volley and didn't quite catch it. Tom Hopper's now gone to the ground and he's been berated by Flanagan and Wright. He's holding his head here. I think they're just trying to get him to speed up, to be honest. So 2 men down. He was battling in there with Luke O'Neill. In the end, O'Neill lands on top of Hopper. It's like a solid collision. See another replay from a different angle. O'Neill has his arm wrapped right around O'Neill, although Hopper does have O'Neill's arm hooked as well. So if one was going to go down, they were both going to go down. 6 minutes of added time to be added on. That's not a surprise. Goal celebrations. There are a few flares on the streets around the stadium being lit off already for Lincoln. And you have to remember, they're only halfway done, even if they win this game, as Jack Diamond has now come onto the field for Tom Flanagan. So, an attacking change for Sunderland in these final few minutes. They suspect with Lee Johnson that they need to be on the front foot here, as it's headed out from the back by Regan Poole on the right hand side, flicked on as well by McGrandles, but that one falls at the feet of Bailey Wright. Gooch has now dropped into sort of a right back position. O'Neill's gone to centre half as it goes down the right hand side in towards Stewart. It's won though by Tayo Idun, and he knocks that ball cleverly off Jack Diamond, and it will go out for a throw in to Lincoln. Clever work by Tayo Idun on this near side. The Lincoln fans are looking extremely delighted with their team's performance today. They're chanting right to the final minutes of this game, egging their team onto this 2-0 victory. It's a huge ask, you have to say, not just for Oxford to turn over 3 against Blackpool, but also Sunderland to turn over 2 against Lincoln. Although they will be at home, Sunderland, with the fans behind them. But a 2-0 deficit is never easy to overturn in knockout competitions. As McGeady goes down the left-hand side, tries to keep that one in, but just can't quite. Bit of skill from McGeady. Not quite the movement he wanted on that occasion, but 92 minutes played, 4 minutes to go. It's launched down the right-hand side by Regan Poole. Succession of headers, eventually Leadbitter nods it down. It's won by Lincoln, fed down the right-hand side. Hopper's there, can he flick it on towards the middle? Bailey Wright covers across well though, and just keeps that one from going in behind. Incidentally, I'll just catch you up on the other scorelines also on this service. Everton have won 1-0 against Wolves. Newcastle still leading 1-0 against Sheffield United. Tottenham still trailing in the 93rd minute 1-2 to Aston Villa. Arsenal are leading at half-time against Crystal Palace. And Nicola Pepe goal from a Kieran Tierney assist. Those games all in the Premier League. And more games on this service to follow also in the Premier League. But this one, League One playoff first leg. So Lincoln and Sunderland in the dying moments of this one, as Lincoln look to hold on to a 2-goal advantage, as Sunderland launch it down the left-hand side through a throw-in. It's cleared left-footed at the back by Lewis Montsma, and bounce all the way towards Lee Burge, who will be thankful this time he can pick that one up before a Lincoln man charges him down again. And what happened last time he did that? Straight into Brennan Johnson, and he hit the back of the net, but Lincoln come forward once again. This time Morgan Rogers fires that one forward. He's taken off the ball after he played it, and Lyndon Gooch complains to the referee as Rogers gets himself to his feet rather gingerly with that injured wrist of his, but it was certainly a shove by Gooch on Rogers. And, no question that foul was going to go against the Sunderland man. And it looks as though another change is going to come here for Lincoln, just trying to eke out the final minutes. But not just yet, as George Grant comes down the left-hand side. It's won by Diamond, but won again this time by the feet of Rogers. He puts in a couple of tackles as Gooch ends up on top of him. They just have a little bit of a moment. 6 and 2 threes between the two of them. But Rogers has certainly been the man that Sunderland have targeted with tackles today, as it looks as though it's the second goal scorer, Brennan Johnson, who's going to come off. Second goal scorer after charging down Lee Burge and tapping it into the back of the net. There weren't too many complaints from Lee Burge, although the ball did come off the hand of Brennan. And it's going to be Anderson who's going to come on for him. So a late change, just some fresh legs. Standing ovation for Brennan Johnson as well. This is the loanee, of course, this season. 13 goals this season. And Harry Anderson, the man to replace him. These final few moments, just Darren Appleton eking out the time that this game has got to play. So long ball forward comes from Sunderland. But, Joe Bursick comes straight out and grabs that one and lays stranded on the floor once again. The Lincoln faithful have been certainly happy with how he's performed today. Joe Bursick, he stepped up to it, called into what is a huge moment, and has delivered exactly what his team, his manager and his fans wanted. As a foul now goes against Luke O'Neill at the back. He's been so frustrated this game and has shown that frustration rather a few times. He's lost his cool a couple of times. This time the foul on Tom Hopper, put an arm up against him. There's not too much in that one, you have to say. But I tell you what, with 25 seconds or so to go, it's a free kick in a very, very good area here for Lincoln. Although they are 2 up, if they could get a goal here, and I think it's going to be a strike from distance rather than clip into the box. Tell you what, a 3-goal advantage would be massive, but it's going to be George Grant to strike from distance, whips it towards goal down the middle, easily taken by Lee Burge. This time he shoves Tom Hopper out of the way, who got a little bit too close, couldn't quite go on the counter attack. Lee Burge, no one providing themselves as an option. A few more minutes seconds will be added on, of course, with that Harry Anderson substitution, but it's fired forward by Bailey Wright down the left hand side. Ringing onto it is Ross Stewart. Poole with the first header. Hugh Stewart picks it up though, lays it off towards the edge of the box. Grant comes across and whips that one away off the toes of McGeady. Referee still not looking to his watch, knows there's still some time to add back on. Final few seconds between these two sides as Lincoln look to take this 2-goal advantage into the second leg. There's a big header out from the back by Poole, picked up by Sunderland once again. McGeady into O'Neill, fired forward, cleared by Grant, picked up by O'Neill once again. Down the left hand side, McFadzean into the feet. Now at the back with Wright, looking to go forward, down the left hand side into O'Neill again. Into the middle of the park is McGeady. Referee still playing on, we've had an extra minute here. McGeady down the left hand side, maybe no, onto his right foot, looking square. Ledbetter to strike from distance, maybe no, touches it, controls it, plays it into the feet of White, turns quickly, comes off him last, does it, or does it come off Ioma? It comes off White last. He's furious with that decision, Charlie White, but a goal kick it will be. He left it to go out thinking it was going to be a corner. A goal kick's being given, and sure, I think it does just touch the toe, you know, of Timothy Ioma. But nothing can be made about that decision. The goal kick won't even be allowed to be taken. The referee's final whistle is gone, and Lincoln will take a 2-goal advantage into the second leg between these two on Saturday. After 90 minutes, it's finished. Lincoln City 2, Sunderland 0. Well, the first leg of the playoff semi-final between Lincoln City and Sunderland has been a thoroughly entertaining one, but after 90 minutes it's finished 2-0 to Lincoln City, who will take the advantage into the second leg on Saturday at the Stadium of Light. An early goal in the second half through Tom Hopper, and a calamity of errors by Sunderland and Lee Burge at the back allowed Brennan Johnson to tap home from a yard out that put the home side 2 goals to the good. 2-0 to Lincoln. Lincoln 2, Sunderland 0.